It is 3 hours later. The argument is long over. The person is gone, the conversation is dead, you have moved on with your day. And then standing in the shower out of nowhere it arrives. The perfect comeback. The devastating, flawless, absolutely surgical thing you should have said. It would have ended them. It would have won the entire exchange in one line. And you deliver it with perfect timing and total confidence to your shampoo bottle. Meanwhile, in the actual moment, when it counted, when the person was standing right in front of you, what did your brain give you? Nothing. A blank. Maybe a weak yeah, well. So why does your brain consistently hand you genius, but always a few hours after the deadline? Why is the perfect thing to say apparently only available in the shower, in the car, or at 2 a.m. and never, ever in the room? Stick with me, because the answer is not that you are slow. And the real reason is going to make you feel a lot better about yourself. Let me explain. This experience is so universal that it has had a name for over 200 years. Back in the 1770, the French philosopher Denis Diderot was at a dinner party where someone made a remark that left him speechless. He could not think of a single thing to say back, and it was only later, walking down the staircase to leave, that the perfect response finally came to him. He was so struck by this that he coined a phrase for it, l'esprit de l'escalier, which translates to the wit of the staircase. The brilliant reply that only ever shows up on the way out when it is far too late to use it. So the first thing to understand is that this is not some personal defect of yours. It is such a fundamental feature of the human brain that a philosopher named it while walking down some stairs almost 250 years ago. You are in extremely good company, but naming it does not explain it. So let's get into what is actually happening in your head, because it is genuinely fascinating. The first thing to understand is that in the heat of the moment, your brain was not in wit mode. It was in survival mode. Here is what most people get wrong. They assume a tense confrontation is a thinking problem, that you just need to think faster. But your brain does not experience a confrontation as a puzzle to solve. It experiences it as a threat. When someone challenges you, criticizes you, or catches you off guard, your body reacts as if you are in danger. Your heart rate climbs, stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood your system, and your nervous system flips into fight or flight. The exact same ancient response you would have to a physical threat. And here is the crucial part. That survival mode actively shuts down the part of your brain you most need for a clever comeback. The clever, verbal, quick-witted thinking lives in your prefrontal cortex, the slow, sophisticated reasoning part right behind your forehead. But under a flood of stress chemicals, your brain deprioritizes that region and hands control to faster, older, more instinctive systems built for one thing, getting you through the threat. Think of it like a building that suddenly hits a fire alarm. The fire alarm does not care about your careful, elegant work. It shuts down the fancy, high-level systems and reroutes all the power to the exits. Your prefrontal cortex, the witty part, is that fancy work. And in the middle of a confrontation, the alarm is blaring, so it goes dark. You did not fail to be smart. Your brain made a snap decision that surviving the moment mattered more than winning it, and it powered down the exact machinery you needed. I have a specific one of these I have never fully lived down in my own head. Years ago, someone said something to me, a little dig, in front of a small group of people, and I just stood there and gave them a weak, mumbled nothing. I could feel my face get hot, my mind go completely white, not a single useful word available anywhere. And that night, lying in bed, replaying it, the perfect response arrived. Calm, sharp, exactly the right amount of unbothered. I could see it landing. I could see the whole room going quiet. And it was, of course, roughly 9 hours too late, delivered to my ceiling. For a long time, I filed that under proof that I am just bad at this, that I fold under pressure. I understand now that nothing was wrong with me at all. My brain did exactly what a human brain is built to do. It just did it on a delay I could not use. So that explains the blank stare in the moment. But it raises the real mystery, which is why the perfect line shows up so reliably later. And the answer is genuinely beautiful. The perfect comeback arrives hours later, because that is precisely when your brain finally comes back online. Once the confrontation is over, the threat is gone. You are safe now, standing in the shower, driving home, lying in bed. Your body finally powers down the fire alarm. The stress chemicals drain away, your nervous system settles, and your prefrontal cortex, that brilliant witty part, comes fully back online with all of its power restored. And here is the thing your brain was doing quietly the whole time. It never actually stopped chewing on that argument. In the background, below your awareness, it kept turning the exchange over, replaying it, working the problem. So the second the stress clears and your full processing power returns, the answer it had been searching for the entire time finally pops out, fully formed. That is why it feels like it comes from nowhere. It does not. It is the delayed result of a search your brain never called off. If you like these little explanations for the strange things your own mind does, take 1 second and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep going. Okay, so the timing was never a sign of a slow brain. It is a fast brain that was simply locked out of the room when it mattered and let back in the moment the danger passed. The genius was always there. It just needed the building to be safe before it could get back to its desk. Which brings us to the part I really want you to hear, because it flips this entire thing on its head. The fact that you think of the perfect comeback too late is very often a sign of a more thoughtful mind, not a slower one. Think about who tends to fire back instantly in an argument. Sometimes it is genuinely quick wit, sure, but very often the people who always have a sharp, cutting reply ready are simply less rattled by conflict, either because they are less sensitive to the social threat or because they are more comfortable being aggressive in the moment. The fact that confrontation throws you, that it triggers that protective survival response so strongly, often means you are someone who takes the interaction seriously, who feels the weight of it, who actually cares how it goes and how the other person feels. Your brain treats the conflict as important, so it goes into full protection mode. And the fact that the perfect answer arrives later means your mind is thorough. It does not just blurt the first thing. It keeps working quietly until it finds the genuinely right response, even if the moment for it has passed. So the delay is not slowness, it is depth. The instant comeback crowd is often just reacting. You are actually processing, and there is a quiet human truth buried in here too. A huge share of these staircase comebacks, the ones that arrive too late, are far crueler and sharper than anything you would actually have wanted to say out loud. The reason it did not come out in the moment is not only the stress response. Part of you, the decent part, was never fully committed to landing the cruelest possible blow on a real person standing in front of you. The witty knife only feels safe to swing once there is no one left in the room to actually cut. That is not a failure of nerve, that is a conscience. Now, here is the honest warning worth taking seriously, because this same machinery has a downside. That background processing, the part of your brain that keeps chewing on the argument after it ends, is incredibly useful for finding the perfect reply. But if you let it run unchecked, it stops being useful and turns into rumination, where you are not solving anything anymore, just replaying the same painful moment over and over, rehearsing comebacks for a conversation that ended days ago and is never coming back. There is a real difference between your brain briefly finishing its thought and delivering the answer, and your brain trapping you in an endless loop of a fight you already lost. The first is healthy. The second just quietly steals your peace. So the goal is to enjoy the staircase wit when it shows up, have a little laugh at your shampoo bottle, and then genuinely let it go. The moment is over. You do not actually need the perfect line for a conversation that is already finished. So let me pull this together, because once you understand it, this whole frustrating experience turns into something kind of wonderful. The reason you never have the perfect comeback in the moment is that a confrontation puts your brain into survival mode, flooding you with stress chemicals that temporarily power down the exact prefrontal region responsible for clever, verbal, quick-witted thinking. Your brain decided that getting through the threat mattered more than winning it. And the reason the perfect line arrives hours later is that once you are safe, that region comes fully back online and delivers the answer it had been quietly searching for the entire time. The genius was never missing. It was just locked out while the alarm was going off. And here is the part I most want you to keep. The next time you are standing in the shower delivering an absolutely devastating line to no one 3 hours too late, do not take it as proof that you are slow or bad under pressure, or that you always lose. Take it as proof of the exact opposite. It means you have a mind thoughtful enough to take the moment seriously, sensitive enough to feel its weight, and thorough enough to keep working the problem until it finds the right answer, even long after the moment has passed. You are not the person who had nothing to say. You are the person whose brain cared enough to keep looking. The comeback showing up late is not a sign your wit failed you. It is a sign your wit was there all along, waiting politely for the danger to pass so it could finally hand you the very thing you needed, in the one place it was always safe to say it. Out loud, to absolutely no one, exactly when it no longer counts. So tell me down in the comments, because I know every single one of you has one of these burned into your memory. What is the comeback you thought of way too late? The perfect line for the argument that was already over. The one you are still a little proud of even though you never got to use it. Say it below, finally, where it can actually land. And if you want to understand the machinery underneath all of this, why your brain insists on replaying these moments long after they are done, go watch the one on why you overthink absolutely everything, because that is the exact same background process, running with no off switch. I'll see you over there. Probably thinking of something I should have said in this video.